Good morning, YouTube. Let's look at my garden. Looks like the grapes from last year are starting to come back. They didn't do very well last year. They might do better this year. There's the other one. This whole stretch of bed right in here has got turmeric still dormant under the ground, and it's got a couple of random loofah sponges coming up. Seminole pumpkin. That is a local native passion flower, Passiflora incarnata, or so they tell me. These are the blackberries I put in a few years ago. They don't have a variety name, and they are a second-year cane. I put in 3 of them. They've done okay. So I got inspired by Tim Huffman's Shadehouse. Got myself a couple shade cloths from Harbor Freight, and a friend of mine gave me some steel panels that were left over from a retail establishment. So with some wire and some T-posts, I got myself a shade house, which is translating into the best Florida garden I've grown. Down here we got dragon beans in the front, red potatoes in the back. These are the yellow Cherokee wax beans. And I think you can see down in there, I got my first beans coming up. Moving on down the road, these are Royal Burgundy purple bush beans. Got a couple bunching onions that I transplanted from a barrel on the other side of the yard. And a couple watermelons. May or may not do anything. I just planted a whole row of loofah sponges right back there. So these are the Primark Freedom blackberries. I think it was Texas Prepper 2 on YouTube that I learned about these from. There's only 2 plants in here. But as you can see, they have sprawled quite a bit. So here's the 2 plants over here in the corner. And even with my pruning, those vines ran 10 foot before I just topped them. And you can see just how damn big those berries are. I've been throwing them in the blender, making smoothies. Florida growth pepper coming back for its 3rd year. There's one here. There's one back there. And then there were a lot of peppers dropped during the hurricane, and a lot of those are sprouted. These are pickling cucumbers here. I'm pretty sure this is the pickle bush variety, which I've grown several times. It does really well. They say that it doesn't need to be trellised, but it's better if it is. Got a lot of flowers. Haven't harvested any cucumbers yet. Got some peas. They were a little bit set back by the last cold snap, but they're starting to climb now. Some more pickling cucumbers. I think these are Boston pickling, maybe. I tied some pieces of 550 cord up to my supporting wires for the shade cloth and then ran them down to the tomato cages so that the cucumbers can go skyward about 7 feet or so. Once they get to the top, I'll prune them. More peas. And a couple flowers. This is one of the varieties of yard-long noodle beans. I think these are either the white-seeded or the black-seeded Thai noodles. The aphids really like these guys, so I have to hit them every couple days with the soap spray. Got another native passion flower here in a pot. Some random garlic plantings. This is just stuff from the store. Got some eggplant seedlings and some unknown tomato. There's no telling what that is. Probably some kind of Roma. A couple more cucumbers. Miss Sophia headed to the danger zone where she's not supposed to be. Horatio watching her. Got some more garlic in this bed. These are new potatoes. They're doing okay. That back row there is another variety of those yard-long beans. Again, I'm not sure which one. I'll find out when they come up. Strawberries appear to be done for the spring. The birds got just as many as I did. And there's another watermelon. It may or may not do anything. I don't know. Sometimes I just throw stuff in the ground to see what happens. And speaking of what happened, you know, after the freeze, most of my citrus leafed out again and started looking okay. I've noticed that some of them have subsequently lost a branch, but my blood orange was looking great, and then about a week ago it just turned to crap and died. I'm guessing it's due to these cracks that it got on the stem during the freeze. I may come back and paint that over and see if I can't revive it, but I'm counting that as a loss at this point. I've been replacing my citrus and keeping them in pots instead of putting them in the ground. I think that's going to work out better. The Maewa kumquat was frozen down to bare sticks. This thing, it made at least 60 kumquats last year. It's already paid for itself. And let's see, I've been taking pine trees and I'm starting to frame in my pineapple bed here. I cut up another 12 or 15 feet yesterday. Pineapples are doing pretty good. You know, they got frozen 3 times. Lost all their leaves, but they're still making fruit. I'm going to have 6 pineapples this year, which is awesome. Next year I hope to have 10. And the mulberry cuttings from last year are turning into trees. I planted a couple in my yard this week. The guavas that were frozen down to sticks are starting to come back. This is also something new. The power company came and cut down like a 30-foot tree. So I decided to make a terraced garden with it. These are my white ghost peppers. I had 6 of them. Only 2 of them survived through the frosts, but they're coming back with a vengeance. I've topped this one. This is the 3rd year. And this is the other one. I love these white ghost peppers. I make sauce with them all summer long. Got the bananas, looking good. This is mushroom compost and soil from plants that didn't make it, that were in pots. I will amend it and add fertilizer to it before I plant in it, and then chip over the top. And these here are my onions that everybody on the internet said we're not going to make onions this year. They were just going to make flowers and seeds. So, to the internet, because you were wrong. They've even got these cool double onions down in here. Nobody on the internet told me that was going to happen. Alright. These are purple cayennes that I'm trying to revive. I soaked them in a fertilizer solution and put them in new pots. And I don't know, we're about 11 minutes here. I think I've talked myself silly. We will close on the pink guava. That last year was a beautiful 10-foot tree that I scored for half price from Lowe's during their end of spring sale, and I was so proud of it. The damn thing froze to the ground, but as you can see, it's going to come back as a beautiful, beautiful, thick shrub. I went ahead and topped all of these little limbs yesterday. Uh-oh. I see a lubber grasshopper. You know what we tell them? Get out. Alright, have a good one.